Ephraim, welcome
Yes.
to Riveter's Time Well Spent.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea.
Yes, you are like the guru of 2020 unemployment. I think Time Magazine should have called you that. I don't think they did yet, but they should have. I want to go back, and we're going to talk about why for sure. But I want to go back and start with your first week after losing your job. What was that experience like for you? And tell me about your mindset, your emotions, your frustrations during that first week.
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I don't know about time yet, but definitely, we're a community of people making a difference. It's no one individual aspect, no, but it's multiple people contributing to a bigger, wider effort that's able to make change. So I was, let me think. Wow, I haven't thought about this in such a long time, even though it's been a few months. So I was laid off myself, I think in the end of April or maybe May, probably May, I think end of May, somewhere over there. And the thing is like, you certain times you think like, oh, this can never happen to me. I'm doing such a good job, or I'm stable in my thing. And it will never happen again. I was seeing a lot of my friends and other colleagues and other people every single day at that period of time. This is the beginning of COVID. It was April, May, when you're hearing so many news every single day. I'll get another call from somebody, hey, I just got laid off, or I heard this, I see a news article over there. I'll be on my LinkedIn feed and see all the people that I've worked with previously all getting laid off, even people that I was working on deals with at that period of time. I was in prop tech at another company, a phenomenal company, and people working on deals with were saying, hey, I'm not here anymore. And this is all a matter of a time span of 2 months. It wasn't like we saw this coming. So when I got that call myself, I think my initial feeling was a feeling of shock. I went into total shock. Like it just wasn't something I was expecting. It wasn't like there was any type of sign or anything else that this was coming. So I went through those stages of like, the first few minutes, like total shock. And I did go through those grief stages like that first day. But, being the person who I am in general, an optimistic person, I knew it's like, I'll get over this. Something will happen. I'm a big believer in divine providence, a big believer in making things happen. Things will happen in the same way I got my previous job. Opportunities present itself as long as you put yourself out there. But the initial feeling was, it was total shock. A bunch of fears come together with it, like, hey, what am I going to do next? How am I going to support myself? And then you have different internal feelings, like, what is my value to the world? What is my contribution? Am I able to add something? Do people value me? Am I valuable? Am I going to able to become a success? Am I going to, whatever, all these things, these bust your head, that come in, all these fears and all these like thoughts and the negative sayings and like, the people on your shoulder, which is your internal self, start throwing in all these, internal voices start talking back to each other. So it's like essentially two things colliding within you. You have all the voices telling you you're never going to amount to anything because you just got laid off. And then you have the things like, trying to, which are out, the outshining the positive side of you or the optimistic side of you saying, hey, everything's going to be okay. It's a very difficult time. So I did go through that period of like, the first few days was like, hey, what's going to be? What am I going to do?
So who did you go to? I mean, it's a brutal feeling. It's got like, even in this example, you're saying, hey, for 2 months, people have been telling me that they were getting laid off, but it would never happen to me. And then it did. And it's a tough feeling. Who did you go to? What did you talk about? What were you doing to cope with it, to work through it in that period of time?
For sure. So obviously, you make the first few phone calls you made to it are, your close friends, your mentors. I remember I called up right away afterwards. I called up a mentor of mine saying, hey, this is what happened. And then I called up another friend and another 2-3 friends. I called up saying, this is what's going on. And I highly recommend to anybody, knowing that one of the biggest things is, especially when you get laid off, people get laid off, they feel like they're alone. They feel like there's a feeling of shame that comes together with it in order to talk to someone else about it. Like, I can't tell, if someone had, their person's fear is once they get laid off, like, what is this person going to think about me now that I'm laid off? Is he going to think of me not a success? Or whatever else their fear may be. But one thing is people just feel alone. You have to know you're not alone, right? So right away, the first thing I did was I called somebody. I said, hey, this is what happened. This is what I'm feeling. This is what my emotions are. And we spoke about it. we're able to talk about it. He's able to give some words of encouragement or words of advice. And most people are, and a lot of things are, I think a big important thing is that if someone calls you and tells you that you just got laid off, don't give advice or suggestions. And this is what my friends were able to be there for me. They just listened intuitively, attentively. It wasn't about like, oh, don't worry, you're going to get over it. You're going to be okay. No. They're like, yeah, that sucks, man. I feel you. I identify you. That totally sucks. And, I think at a point like that, it's okay to acknowledge the feelings that, yeah, it's a shitty feeling. It's a shitty place to be. And, if someone else listening to this and could benefit from that, that aspect, that idea is like, if a friend calls you up, we love to give advice. As human beings, we just love to give advice. We love to hear our own voice and spew our own wisdom and make it sound smart. Don't do that. Just listen to what the person has to say. Be there for him, provide that ear. Because someone that's on the other side of the phone, the person that just got laid off, that's all they need. They just need to have that. And they need to know that there is someone there supporting them. So the first thing I did was I called a few friends over there. Yeah.